Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, as we know, one poll is an outlier. Two, well, it's starting to become confirmation of a trend. And at this point, I'd say it's a trend. At first, we had that devastating poll from Quinnipiac University, showing Democrats trailing Republicans in favorability rating by over 20 points. And of course, it seemed as though a lot of Democrats wanted to shove their head in the sand and pretend like it wasn't happening, or it was just an outlier poll, there's nothing to it. As we know, Democrats eat a giant bowl of delusion pretty much every morning for breakfast, so it wasn't exactly surprising. But you can only deny reality so long until it eventually bites you in the derriere. And so I guess no more denying reality, no more dismissing that poll as an outlier, as we now have another one, this time from Civics, which I'd say is even more devastating for Democrats, because I'm pretty sure Civics usually just polls adults, if I'm not mistaken, all adults, and not registered voters or likely voters. But anyways, we got a poll from Civics showing more devastatingly bad numbers for Democrats. Again, underwater by 24 points, if I'm not mistaken. Democrat Party favorability continues to tank into the gutter, hitting the lowest numbers I've seen in my entire lifetime. This party is full-on collapsing as more and more voters continue to reject all the nonsense. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on, how truly bad it's gotten for the Democrats. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Okay, so by the looks of it, like I said, the Democrat Party as a whole is absolutely done. They are finished. Just take a look at the chart right over here. It's expanded from all the way back, I think, at the start of Donald Trump's first term. Or actually, no, we're looking all the way back to, I think, 2015. So this is Obama's last year, before Election Day 2016. And yeah, pretty much instantly, visually, you can tell exactly what's going on. It's bad. I mean, it's really bad. In fact, it's pretty much the worst it's been since their lowest low back in January of 2017. Except I'd argue it's probably even worse because it looks like a precipitous drop. I mean, just look at the trend line from late last year to now. They just keep tanking. It's not like what we saw back in January of 2017, where Democrats acted like damn fools after Donald Trump was elected and they had this momentary dip that then stabilized and they were able to recover from. This looks like a completely different phenomenon. This is a tank into the gutter. And this comes after the last headline from late last month, where Democrats' unfavorability rating reached a new 16-year high as the party kept licking wounds following Disastrous 2024 poll. That was the Quinnipiac University poll that showed that just 31% of voters said they had a favorable view of the Democrat Party, which is even lower than the Civics numbers, which is what I was saying. Usually Civics numbers are quite favorable for Democrats because they're polling everybody rather than people who are actually involved or paying attention politically, meaning you get less uninformed answers and of course you get less unsures. This is a full-blown collapse, and Democrats have no one to blame but themselves. They've taken the wrong side of nearly every contentious issue. Scott Jennings actually brought this up on CNN earlier this week.
He's describing what is currently the dumbest strategy in politics, which is Democrats taking the 20% side of every 80-20 issue in America. USAID, people want this pared down. They want it streamlined. They want to know where the money is going. Democrats have a meltdown. Today, Donald Trump signs executive order on keeping boys out of girls' sports. Democrats take the 20 side of that issue as well. All these issues, this is like Trump's superpower, finding a bunch of 80-20 issues, getting on the 80, and everybody who's sort of reflexively against him gets on the 20. And now the Democratic Party has like a 31% approval rating. This is why. I don't know.
And like I always say after I play a Scott Jennings clip, he's absolutely right. Hit the nail on the frickin' head. And everybody seems to understand this, especially voters who are ditching Democrats like you can't imagine. Everybody, of course, except for Democrats themselves, who are suffering from just an incredible level of delusion. You know, we got John Fetterman saying stuff like this.
If you go to an extreme and you become a boutique kind of a proposition, you're going to lose the argument, and then we have done that.
John Fetterman's diagnosed the issue, although he probably didn't go deep enough. There's some people on the left who have seen the signs and they're raising the issue, but obviously nobody wants to listen in the Democrat establishment. Listen to the copium that's going on with these top Democrat politicians.
These sweeping conclusions about every person who claims to be a Democrat in America is, to me, absurd. The reality is I work in a caucus of 47 people who have been standing up and fighting for the Americans in their state as best as they can. When they stand up and say hiring processes should be inclusive of women and minorities who often don't get an opportunity to apply for the jobs because the search parameters are so narrow and so small, that we should look at ways of searching our college campuses for better talent, making sure that we have diverse teams. Why? Because everybody from the Harvard Business School to some of our biggest consultants have shown that diverse teams are more successful at delivering missions.
Excuse me, some of the pundits say, oh, don't make a stake on foreign aid. That's not the way for Democrats to come back. Foreign aid isn't popular with the public. They don't know how much we spend on it. Well, I say to that bull, that is where we have to make a stand. Because that is, without that, we have no country. We are not secure. We cannot protect democracy. And we've got to let the public know.
Quinnipiac University began asking the question, and it's not an outlier. A recent CNN poll found a 33-year low favorable rating with the Democratic Party. Why is your party so staggeringly unpopular with the public?
Jake, you know me, I'm a Virginian. I know one state well and not so well the other 49. I just won my reelection by a sizable margin against Donald Trump's hand-picked Republican opponent. And I'll tell you how we've done it. We focus on the economy. This is what we do in Virginia, and I think sometimes national Democrats don't. We focus on competent government and running the economy in a great way that focuses on innovation and advancing.
I mean, it's total, utter delusion. You know, Donald Trump doesn't have superpowers. He's not some sort of mage that's casting a spell on the American people to make them think this way. It's not some massive 4D chess move. It's just that the leftoids are completely out of touch. And Trump obviously is just appealing to common sense. But these Democrats, who are obviously so captured by their radical leftist audience, they just can't seem to understand it. And so they obviously, I don't think, are going to be able to pivot here. Their responses are just pathetic. They're pretending as if everything's just fine. Actually, we're winning. Totally clueless and out of touch. Their party is in full-on freefall. Their policies have been soundly and roundly rejected. Their lies don't work anymore. They can't build narratives like they used to. And it's obvious to everyone. Everyone can see it except for them. You know, it's crazy, and I think about this all the time. It's almost like Democrats, as a whole, as a collective hive mind consciousness, just pretty much represent the worst character traits in their collective thinking. You know, the same kind of red flags that you'd be looking for in your general interpersonal interactions. They're constantly lying and manipulating. Nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. They can't take any accountability. They can't show any remorse. They can't pivot. They can't drop the freaking ego for 2 seconds and admit that they might have been on the wrong side. No, it's just delusion. It's always somebody else's fault. And now as they're met with the collapse of their political party, they still can't frickin' snap out of it. Honestly, it's just absolutely pathetic. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.